Hi there, Paul here from PrimeMover Health and Fitness. Today I want to talk about motivation. It's something that most people struggle with from time to time. Some people more often than others. Some people can go years without a break in motivation. But at some point, motivation is going to break down. Now, motivation is a strange thing because our motives, the reasons that we want to do things, the things that fuel our desire to move in a particular direction will change. Now, when it comes to health and fitness, when you're in your 20s and 30s, it can be, wanting to look the best that you can look for whatever reason that might be. When you get into your 30s and 40s, your motivation potentially will change to being more focused around your kids, being able, being a good role model for your kids, being fit and healthy so that you can play with your kids and not, be completely tired out after a couple of minutes. As you move into your 40s and your 50s, your motivation might be to still look like you're in your 30s and your 40s. And as we move into those 50s and 60s and 70s, then it becomes much more of a health thing, longevity motivation. Now, obviously, that's a broad generalisation, but what I'm saying is that motives will change. My motives, now I'm a dad, are different to what they were even 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So motivation will change. Now, motivation everyone should be at an all-time high on motivation because it's everywhere. Okay, the extrinsic motivation or the extrinsic motivators are everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, magazines, TV, all these things that should be motivated, that should be piquing our motivation to move us forwards. Everybody should be at an absolute all-time high, much like everybody should be in the best shape that they've been in because of all the diet and exercise advice that is out there. The problem is the more diet and exercise advice there is, the worse people's condition gets. The reason for the diet and exercise advice not working is more of an application, a lack of application. Having information is great, but it's the implementation that is necessary for that to work. With motivation, the problem that we've got, as I said before, it's this extrinsic motivation. It's stuff coming from the outside, and it's a weak sort of motivation because it inspires you for 10 seconds and then it's gone. It doesn't mean anything anymore. So what we need to do is change the motivators that we have. So instead of the flash in the pan Instagram post that motivates you for 10 seconds, that's like throwing petrol on a fire. We need to change that fuel. We need to change the motivation fuel to something that's going to be more sustainable, long, not the flash in the pan, a lower burn, but will burn for a long time. And that's what we need. So what I want to try and do through this video is to help you dig into that, because it does take some work. You can't just say, I'm going to be motivated. If everyone could do that, then we would all be motivated. You need to put work into it. Like with nutrition, you need to put work into it. You need to plan what you're going to eat. You need to prepare what you're going to eat. You need to make sure that you've got a plan in place. Exercise is exactly the same. Knowing what to do is useless. It's doing the work that gets the result. So we need to put some work into our motivation to be able to set ourselves up for long-term success. So throughout this video, this is what we're going to try and do. I suggest that you download the worksheets so that will help you fill it in. But if you've got a blank piece of paper and a pen, that is good enough. So if you're ready, I'm ready, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we need to establish when trying to work on our motivation is what is it that we actually want? This is like goal setting 101. You need to know where you're working towards. If you're not a fan of the term goal, then use target or destination. But ultimately, we want to get from somewhere where we are now, which might be overweight, which might be unfit, which might be whatever your condition is now. If you want to put it into numerical terms, let's say you're a size 16 and you don't want to be a size 16 anymore. So your destination is a size 12. Now, you need to know what that destination is. You would never get in a taxi, sit on the back seat and just sit there. The taxi driver's like, well, where are we going? You need to tell him where to go. So just think of your journey as a taxi ride. You need to know where you're starting off, which is easy enough because it's just where you are now. Where do you want to get to? And you need to understand what that looks like. So we'll talk about that in a little while. But the first step is knowing exactly where you want to be. Okay. Now, what I want you to do on the worksheets is write down 3 things that you're doing every day or regularly. Let's say like 2 or 3 times a week that you're doing that is moving you towards that destination. So you write down 3 things that you're doing on a regular basis. That could be you're training 3 times a week. It could be that you're eating right Monday to Friday afternoon. It could be that you're trying to work on your stress, that you're trying to change departments at work because you can't stand the people that you work with. It could be anything like that. The things that you're working towards, the things that you're doing on a regular basis that are moving you towards where you want to be. Now, in the other column, I want you to write 3 things that you do on a regular basis that is moving you away, that is stopping you moving towards that goal. So not necessarily moving away. You're not going, if you are a size 16, it's not taking you to a size 18, but you're still stuck at a 16. You're not moving forwards. Or for someone who's, you know, a much fitter person, let's say you're wanting to do a 40-minute 10K, and you're currently at 45 minutes. What is it that's stopping you moving to that 43, 42, 40 minutes? You will know, the answers are inside your head. You know exactly what you're doing, right and wrong, okay? So I need you to write down the 3 things that you're doing to move you towards it and the 3 things that are holding you back. Okay, so now we've got our list of the things that we know that we're doing on a regular basis to help ourselves and the list of things that we know that we're doing that are holding us back. Now, obviously, we need to do more of list 1 and less of list 2. But I want you to back up a little bit. The thing that you wrote down, the destination, the target, the goal that you want to get to, I want you to think about, why do you want that? Okay, so this might take some time. You need to pause the video, have a think about it. Maybe you need it to sleep on it. Why do you want to get to that goal? Because in my experience working with possibly thousands of clients now, it's always, you said to people, what's your goal? And it's always lose weight, turn up, get fit. Or I want to lose 7 pounds, or that's a bit more specific, but generally it's quite a vague goal. But we need to get into the reasons why. Why do you want to lose 7 pounds? Why do you want to lose weight, turn up, get fit? Why do you want to be a size 10 instead of a size 14? Why do you want to, you need to know why, okay? And then once you've written that down, some people call this peeling the onion, you need to ask yourself, well, why is that important? And if you can, try and go 5 levels deep. Keep asking, why is that important? Why is it important? Now, I don't want to give you any examples because I don't want to sort of cloud your mind and start giving you answers to put down. I want you to be honest with yourself and work out why. This might seem like a lot of hard work, but if you can really get into this, then you will start to uncover that motivation. Because like we said before, the extrinsic motivation is nowhere near as powerful as the intrinsic. If you can find in yourself what your real driver is, what's the motivation behind what you're doing, if you can uncover that, it's quite a powerful thing. So I want you to write that down. Like I say, if you need to pause or even stop the video and come back to this, then do so and make sure you do this. Go 3 levels, 4 levels, if you can, go 5 levels deep. Keep asking why is that important to me? Okay, so the next step is I want you to work out, when will you achieve whatever it is that you said at the start. The destination that you want to get to, when are you going to get to that destination? What date? Okay? And then I want you to answer, why is that date important? Why, is it your birthday? Is it Christmas? Is it your partner's some do at work? Whatever it might be. Why is that day important? And then I want you to work out how many weeks you've got between now and then. Okay, so the date that you've deemed important and you've worked out and you've answered the question why it's important to you, how many weeks is it between now and then? And then I want you to think about, if in that column 2 that we did before, the things that you're doing week in, week out that are holding you back, if you stop doing those things, is that going to allow you to progress to your goal? The things that you said in column 1, the things that you're doing that are moving you towards your goal, if you do more of those, is that going to help? By decreasing list 2 and increasing list 1, that's going to accelerate your results even further. I'm sure you will agree with that. So I want you to write all this down, okay? Because this is like a contract to yourself. You're writing this stuff down. You're making this promise. You're uncovering the things that are holding you back. You're realizing the things that are stopping you getting you to where you want to be. And you're also identifying the successes that you're having, the things that you're doing on a regular basis that are actually keeping you moving forwards. Because if you look back at the list, if you were just doing list 2, the things that are moving you away, and you weren't doing the things in list 1, then you wouldn't be holding where you are. Say you are a size 16. Without list 1, you would start going size 18, size 20. So, you are doing a lot of good things already. We just need to move them things up a little bit, and we need to drop the other things back. So, how many weeks until you get there? And if you drop things from list 2 and increase things in list 1, are you going to get there quicker? Okay, so now I want you to do a thing called future pacing. And I want you to actually think about, you need to get somewhere so you're on your own, no distractions. You don't want someone walking in halfway through this. You need time to actually think about this and start to let the feeling as you're thinking it come over you. So, you're now at the date that you deemed important, okay? So whatever date that might be, however many weeks away that is, you're at that date. That's today. Okay, now I'm going to assume it's a body composition goal that you've got. You want to get from, I keep using this size 16, you want to get from a size 16 to a size 12. So, that day is today. You are looking at yourself in the mirror in something that's slim fitting, or swimwear would be a good gauge. So you're looking at yourself, and what the reflection you see is exactly what you would love to be like now. So we're back at today, the thing that you're wanting to get to. So we're future pace, we're at the destination date, and that's how you look. You're looking at yourself, there's no negative emotion around how you feel, there's no negative emotion around how you look, there's just no negative emotion whatsoever. You're loving the reflection that you see. Now, looking at that reflection and seeing what you see, it's giving you that sense of it. You feel empowered, you feel confident, you feel like you're almost feeling like a new person. Hopefully you are feeling like a new person. The person that's sat here writing these things down today, you're a different person from that because of the change that you've gone through, not just physically, but the psychologically, mentally, emotionally, the changes that come along with that physical transformation. So I want you to write down how that will change your life. It could be one thing, it could be 3 things, you could write a full sheet of A4. Write down how that will change your life. Being able to look at yourself and have that confidence, that sense of empowerment, that sense of happiness by seeing what you want to see. Now this whole process is day by day. However many weeks you've got, let's say you've got 10 weeks between now and your destination date. 10 weeks, that's 70 days. So we just need to work 70 days, day by day by day. Count it down, 70, 69, 68. Count up if you need to, whatever you want to do. It doesn't mean that you've got to be absolutely, like a monk for 70 days. Obviously, the more compliant you are to everything, the better your results are going to be. But you've got to enjoy life as well. But you need to weigh up the things that you're doing that were on list 2, the things that are moving you away. So the drinking on a weekend, the takeaway on a Friday night, whatever it might be, those things that are moving you away, do you prefer that? Is that more important to you than having the feeling on your destination date? Now, if it is, if the Chinese on a Friday night is more important, then that's fine. You don't have to do this. But if you're not happy with your current situation and the attraction of having that feeling in 10 weeks or whatever your date is, time, if that is more important than the things that you're doing in list 2, then we need to stop doing list 2. And we need to, day by day, do more of list 1, do less of list 2, and you'll get to where you want to be because you know the things that are holding you back. There's nobody that has come through PrimeMover or my personal training before that has ever done everything that they were supposed to do and not got to where they want to be. It's always something that breaks down. It's the, yes, I'm doing the diet, but I'm doing it, I do it Monday to Friday. Well, it's obviously not good enough. How is that working out for you? That's a good quote from a friend of mine, Dax Moy. How is that working out for you? Well, I'm not really happy with my body, but I'm not sticking to the diet on the weekend. How's that working out for you? Well, you're not happy. So we need to start sorting the weekends out. Doesn't mean that you can't have anything that you want, but it just means that you've got to reduce some of the things that you're doing that you know aren't right. So if you are happy with how you are, if the attraction of that feeling is weak, then don't do this. But if you need that motivation, hopefully the things that you've written down, the future pacing, the seeing yourself as you want to be, and all that stuff, understanding why you want what you want. If that has generated some strong feelings, some strong motivation, then use that as your fuel. Don't use the weak little flash bombs from Facebook as motivation. If you see a quote that really sings to you, then embrace it and live by it. But don't just like every quote and forget it 2 minutes later, because that's not what these people, sometimes these quotes are hundreds of years old. The person that said that or wrote that back then didn't come up with it for you to like it and then forget about it 2 minutes later. So if you've got something that really means something to you, then yes, live by it. But don't rely on these little flash in the pan motivation things to move you forwards, because it's not going to work. It's not working. We know it's not working. So hopefully you found this useful. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'll catch you soon. Take care.